Hi, this is Gary Kayye. We're here at ISE 2024. I'm here with Andrew Gross, the VP of Sales at Xyte, Xyte.io. First off, I suspect a lot of people don't even know who Xyte is or why I'm here. Why don't you give an overview of what Xyte is and why it's important?
Sure thing. Thanks, Gary, and thanks for having us here. So, Xyte as a company is we're a software platform. What we do is we partner with manufacturers to enable them to easily and quickly get to the cloud, to be able to offer better services and support around their hardware through their dealer channel, through their integrator channel, and then ideally down to their customers to do more with their hardware aftermarket.
There's a lot to talk about here and a lot to unpack because there's some things moving simultaneously that are interesting where things are lining up really well for you. First off, AV as a service is the future of where we're going. We're more, forget about the infrastructure of our industry, but look at the big customers buying lots of gear. They're going to move from a CapEx model to an OpEx model where they're paying on a monthly fee rather than spending millions of dollars up front to buy AV equipment at some point in time, right? That's one thing. Second thing is, everything is moving to the cloud. Everything in your house is already on the cloud. You have hardware to make it work, but ultimately all the content and all the magic happens in the cloud. So that's going to happen in our market too. And you have brands creating their own cloud services, but they're all ad hoc. And so you're in a good position to kind of marry them all together with one pane of glass and make them all work cohesively.
Yeah, and I think it kind of stems from like defining what AV as a service really even means to the three different big partners in this whole industry, which is the manufacturer, the channel, and the end customer, right? And in reality, AV as a service can mean a combination of a bunch of, yes, it's single pane of glass for multiple manufacturers. It's the ability to empower the installers, the service providers, the resellers to do more with that hardware. And ideally, to your point, it's a financial transaction model that allows people, customers, to be able to consume products, AV, on a monthly subscription model, on an annual subscription model, but also potentially the ability to take that gear that they purchased yesterday or last year and continually make it better, right? That's like the aftermarket approach of premium feature enablement that manufacturers can now embed into their cloud solution.
And that's what they're going to do. The truth of the matter is that's what they're going to do. And this is actually unfolding before our very eyes because here a bunch of people have PTZ cameras installed in their rooms and they have microphones installed and speakers, and AI can now make the cameras operate better, can make the microphones operate better, and the brands, instead of coming out with new versions of the product, could upgrade the current product and offer that as a service upgrade to anyone that has the product installed now. But we really don't even have the infrastructure to do that, right? That would be an ad hoc model that we have right now. You know, Logitech, as they added their new seamless switching feature, they either have to decide to just give it to everyone or come out with a new version of the product with the seamless switcher because they don't really have any way to deliver it to everyone that already has the infrastructure to do that. Like the integrator sold the hardware and walked away.
Yeah, and the nice thing about that too is it's finally like the first frontier in AV that's aligning incentives between all three of those members.
Right.
Meaning the customer's benefiting because they're buying something that's going to be installed longer, that's just going to keep getting better.
Upgradable.
They don't have to rip and replace. The dealer, the channel partner can benefit from feature enablement because now they're coming back for services and got a greater value to add to that hardware.
Right.
And the manufacturer benefits because now they're not risking the issue of being ripped and replaced themselves. Right. They keep their hardware installed and it keeps getting better for their customers.
And I think where this is going to unfold is right now the idea of management falls under service. In reality, it should fall in the sales process, where integrator salesperson should include that in their package of products and sell it up front, because that keeps them an in-house AV company. Like if you have a service contract with somebody, not just reactive service but proactive service, you're an in-house AV company, because if you're servicing all the rooms, we're of course going to buy the new stuff from you. So, but to really make this work, we got to get the brands to integrate Xyte into their products and their platforms and use it as a front end to what they currently have, maybe as a cloud offering that they currently have.
Yeah, it all starts with being Xyte connected, right? Like let us be the facilitator to get you the tools so that you don't have to build this in-house, right? As a manufacturer in this industry, you make the greatest hardware technology in the AV space today. Focus on making great hardware and AV technology. Come to us because we focus on great software, and we'll keep adding new software features way faster than anybody else could.
So there's a few different models here. One is, if you're a manufacturer and you don't have a cloud strategy, you don't have a cloud offering, you can use Xyte. Second is, if you have cloud, you could use Xyte API or whatever it is, you tell me what it is, to make sure that you can control multiple. Let's say you have a system where you have 4 different brands installed. Each one of them has some cloud connectivity. You can provide one pane of glass to control all of their cloud services in one unified UX.
Correct. Yeah, it's an accelerator to get to that single pane. Yeah.
Okay. So part of it is the appeal to the manufacturers. That's something that a lot of people who are watching don't have any control over because they're integrators. That's a thing where you're going to have to walk the show floor and convince these brands to do it. And you do have some big brands. It's interesting because you told me offline some of the big names that you have, and you can't even tell everyone the big ones, but I'm telling you they're big names. Some of the biggest glue companies, some of the biggest display companies, some of the biggest companies out there in collaboration are already using what you're using as their own branded product, which is nice because then it's easier to grow. But if I'm an integrator, right, I think in a way they kind of need to see it operating to understand the value proposition of how they can offer this and why they need to sort of like proactively understand how to get involved with this. Yeah. So would you mind kind of walking us through some options there and explaining?
And quickly, actually, there's 2 main things that I think are important to the integrator. Is one, there's a new tool we just launched at the show. It's actually called Xyte Connect, where now for any of the brands, the manufacturing brands that are using our cloud, they actually have the ability to connect via the platform to be able to ingest any of the technology that manufacturer has enabled for them. So that's one big thing. The second thing, and we'll show that in a second, is the ability for once you do ingest, you now can start to layering services, layer contracts, layer bundles of hardware with your
not
service.
Just reactive things, but proactive things like upgrades.
Yeah, they're upgrades, and now you're actually generating recurring revenue because your service contract bundled with hardware is your value to the customer.
It's going to be interesting because like a good example of that is Logitech adding seamless switching. They might announce that, the end user gets excited, but somebody's got to pay to actually get that installed, even though they might offer it as a free upgrade. Right? And that's how you got to think about this, is like, now you have a path to do that and charge for it, and logically why you should charge for it. You shouldn't be giving that away. Okay, so let's see how this platform actually works, because it is cloud-based. You're launching a browser to get into the system.
So quickly, before we get into the actual demo, what you're looking at is an actual side-by-side of both portals that a partner of ours would have access to. This side over here, this is what the manufacturer would see. So think of this as like the back end. This is where you do all your configuration of what your cloud would look like. And then you have the front end. This is what the customer would see. This is what the dealer, the integrator, the reseller, the service provider would see. So these 2 portals we're showing side by side because whatever you build over here, you can then launch over here. Okay. A couple things to show you.
Does that look good in the camera? Everything looks good? Okay.
So a couple things to showcase on the manufacturer side is you have a couple different modules. And that's an important aspect of our platform, is the entire thing is modular. You want to get to the cloud? Great. You can leverage products and marketing to be able to go in and brand what your cloud solution looks like. If you're manufacturer ABC, it's manufacturerabccloud.com with your logos.
So you're white labeling it.
Completely white labeled, from the domain to the images to the messaging and the email communication. Secondly, is that up here, back to the modules, is that if you don't need to maybe to connect your products to the cloud and you just want to offer as a service, maybe you just want to build a storefront, you can consume our e-commerce module and build out your product catalog and identify the pricing on a monthly basis, or even the feature enablement that we talked about. So it is completely modular, completely custom, and completely white labeled. You kind of choose your own path in that aspect. Once I do all of the building over here, once I hit that proverbial publish button, and I want my dealers and my end customers to start taking action within the portal, that's what you see over here.
Yeah.
And so this is where all the service and the support starts to take place.
So this is what the integrator could see as a front end to managing a whole system or any individual product in a system?
Yes, and more. So this is what an integrator would be able to see with a single end user.
Right.
But to your point, right, an integrator is going to have multiple end users, right? Which gets back to that connection in our portal between the manufacturer and the integrator to be able to see multiple customers. So this quick view, right, is the ability to see, all right, I've got one company, Green Energy Corp, that I'm managing. I want to be able to see all of the different offices, be able to click into a device, see the current status of that device, maybe even raise a ticket, raise an incident, or check my telemetries. What's nice when we talk about single pane of glass, it's more than even just single pane of glass across multiple manufacturers. Also, it's single pane of glass for multiple features. So in the same location that I'm managing, let's say the device broke and I need to buy a new device or subscribe to a new device. I don't need to go to a new page. I can just click my store tab in that exact same portal, come in, add to my cart, and begin to check out.
So when you do that, you define the parameters of what actually happens inside your own organization. Does that go to purchasing, or does it go to acquisitions or something?
You route everything. Purchasing, who has access to it, but also how your dealers and resellers will be compensated and deliver on this product. So they are part of this chain. So as we talked about, this is just what, the one customer, right? But that feature that we launched at the show called Xyte Connect, if we go back to the manufacturer's portal, we have this feature down here called Connect, and I go to my partners page. What the partners page does now is it allows a manufacturer who's using the Xyte tools to build their cloud to come in and invite a specific partner, either a single invitation or bulk invite. This now gives my partner, my reseller, the ability to have a limited version of my back-end cloud. One of the key things that once they accept and you identify, yep, this partner is a reseller, great, I'm going to give them access to my support tab. The support tab is where I can now come in and be able to get a map view of all of my customers, not just one, but multiple customers using my cloud, aggregated tickets, incidents, and number of devices.
Yeah, so if I'm a big integrator, this is invaluable because I have one pane of glass to see everything going on.
And this is also where you can now, as an integrator, can start layering on that financial. Yeah. So if you remember back over here,
this would make it easier to do AV as a service, ultimately.
Right, because if I want to deliver AV as a service, it's not just delivering products. It's AV, products, and service bundled into one, right? Yeah. So the manufacturer is going to add their products to their catalog, as we showed you in the end customer portal. But now, as a connected partner, I can come in and start creating a new product. I'm going to come in and create a service. And same, when I hit publish, I come back over to my end user.
In their store.
I go back to my store, I hit my service and support, and now I can add it next to my hardware.
Yeah. Okay, so in a way, the integrators kind of want to need to get the manufacturers on board. And I think, but also they could also drive adoption by saying, look, we want to offer these as services. And as margins go down, this could be the holy grail for our industry.
Yeah, it's no longer selling a new product simply because it came out in the color blue or it has a new input or output. It's actually adding value to everything you're selling, and margins will only increase when you're selling services, and they become sticky.
Yeah, and when it's recurring revenue, it's easier. It's easier income. It's harder to do the sale up front sometimes because we're not good at selling services, but it's easier because, honestly, our stuff does work, but also you can offer upgrades because you have that relationship with the client.
Exactly right. Yeah.
All right. So the platform, you can find it all at Xyte.io, xyte.io, and of course, they can at least tell you about these brands have adopted. Avacor, Legrand. I mean, these are some big brands. Symmetric, Schneider. What Schneider's done is quite unique. Planar, Wirestorm. We were talking about them yesterday, actually. Valence, which is HD-based T, by the way. So you think about the potential there. And there's more coming. A lot more relationships here at the show. He's given me some insight to where they're going with this. So you're going to learn more and see more about this. But if you want to kind of play around with it yourself, go to Xyte.io, xyte.io. Andrew, thank you very much. Appreciate the demo. You got a lot of energy. At the end of the day, it's a lot of energy. So thanks for joining us. All of our videos can be seen at ravepubs.com/ISE.